Hey guys, welcome back to Stuck in Wisdom podcast. My name is Artem. This is my brother Alex. We're the co-hosts. This episode is brought to you by EFG Inc. You can check out on the website mktgchefs.com. Today we're joined with Keelo. Keelo does.
I do
he does a lot, so that's one of the reasons why we thought it'd be really cool to bring him along. But he's an artist, right? So first and foremost. So tell us more about how you started, how you kind of got into it, and then we'll tell you all about Stuck in Wisdom and why we decided to date with that.
Okay, so I'm Keelo D'Ville. Basically, like, I started doing music from a young age since I was like 13, and I grew up in a house full of like different type of music, and my dad is Jamaican, so the Jamaican culture, they're always like partying and always
of course
ready to sip some rum and do whatever, right? So me personally, I actually had a lot of experiences with a lot of hardship with family situations, and I just found like the best like way to express yourself is like, I guess your emotions is probably like. I guess sound and thoughts, poetry. It started out as poetry when I was 13, and then people were like, yeah man, you can really put some words together. So then eventually like I started doing like little freestyles here and there until one of my buddies from high school, he actually noticed, like, he's like, yo, let me bring you to my church and connect with some, I guess, professional artists there and producers there. And then from there I just kind of like took it on and definitely changed my life forever, because I can't detach myself from being an artist. You know what I mean? Because like once you it becomes part of you. No matter what you go, people associate you to being like that type of person.
Right.
So that's pretty much what has brought me to an artist as a musician. I am a lyricist by heart, but now I've gotten in more to like the production side of things, making beats, I guess artist development and things like that, but I pretty much do everything myself.
Well, it sounds like an evolution, definitely. But I mean, like, it's, like, I'll be honest with you myself. Like, I did some. I think it's more about just the expression itself, right? It's being able to kind of release whatever energy that's got inside of you that you want to put out in, like, in a certain way, right?
That's exactly what I mean. It's energy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And energy is everywhere. So whatever energy just converts into more energy.
Of course.
Right?
But that's kind of, like with me, like I did some like drawing and painting and stuff like that when I was younger. So like I can totally relate to that, right? And I've always been kind of a very musical person too myself. And I did like piano lessons for like 7 years. And then I kind of quit because I was trying, got to that rebellious stage when I just was trying to push away from everything that your parents are trying to kind of push onto you, right? So
initially, I actually went to right out of high school, like I wanted to do music, but then I was still like trying to decide what should I do like for the rest of my life. Like I actually decided to take a business and society course at York, but then I decided like, this shit is boring. I just want to. I started doing a little bit of background work, and then I got a couple opportunities to do a commercial. Been on the TV show Rookie Blue.
Nice. Okay.
And then from there, I just like it looked easy at that point, because it's like I felt like that type of environment was like my second home, and from then I just decided to pull away from the music. I mean the film stuff. And focus more on music, and it's been a long time coming. I've had to take breaks here and there, and now I'm finally getting ready to release an album that I feel will definitely influence people. It's a first big push of what I want to accomplish.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Awesome. I'm really happy for you, man.
Yeah, produced everything, marketing everything, so I'm really like excited about this opportunity. And
that's amazing. Well, like, what kind of marketing are you going to implement?
Well, right now I'm just focusing on social media, connecting with like fans and people who are in my community. Like I'm based in Ontario, so I've actually never been on a plane. So that's something like a big next step.
Well, you gotta go to Jamaica, man. You gotta go visit your dad's place, man. I'm sure you got relatives back there.
Well, that's
stuff,
the plan, right? But like I love Canada, and I love the culture that we got here. We're so diverse, and I just feel like this will always be my home. But I definitely want to see what other people are experiencing, and maybe I can. It always develops your mind as you see different experiences.
For sure, yeah.
Perspective, right?
Well, I've traveled quite a bit too, man. Like, because I was born out outside of Canada, right? So my brother was born here, so it's a little bit different. But I've traveled quite a bit, and it definitely like opens up your perspective about life and things, and like
it
just
helps you not to stress so much, because when you're like in your own head, you're like, you don't see what other people are actually going through, and then you just think that you have like the worst problems in the world. But
and that's a huge thing too, like with the mental, like, because everything's in your mind, man, everything.
Yeah.
Because everything you experience, everything comes through a perception of your mind too, right? So.
And that's one of my biggest things, like for music, is to empower the mind. Like Bob Marley once said like something like, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our mind. So like I feel like every day we're in a constant like battle in our heads, like should we or can we, and that constant like voice is always going to be there no matter what, right? So you have to like on a daily basis try to combat that with I guess practice, like habitual things that, you know, like the law of attraction type of thing, you know?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm actually I've run into some wisdom from this one guy that I kind of follow online. His name is Sadhguru. He's like this Indian guy.
Guru.
Yeah, like, but he explains that guru is not really supposed to be kind of like a person that pushes their opinions onto you.
Yeah.
It's actually translated as a dispeller of darkness. So like it's more of like he's trying to point out things that you might have not even thought about, and then he talks about how if you follow these certain paths, it might open up certain things for you in life, kind of stuff like that, right? So one of the things he talks about is how, you know, like we try to like medicate ourselves, whether it be prescription medications, whatever, legalized stuff like alcohol,
what do you think
whatever
about
else.
medications? Do you think that they do help, or they?
Well, I'll be completely honest with you, man. Like I come from a background like where I've worked in restaurants, so like food it's kind of been like a big thing for me, right? And I've kind of, you know, growing up in a family where your grandma always cooks, and it's always just like an obsession with like, you know, like food and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
food is a necessity
right.
of
So
life.
and like
I think food is actually like the cure to everything, but
I'm gonna agree with you 100%, because and that's kind of like where it started for me, but then it sort of evolved into almost like an artistry, right? Like because of the artistic background that I had, it kind of made me really passionate about things, because whenever I cook, for example, I find that I can totally just focus on things and like completely get like detached from everything.
It's funny that you say something about food, because with anything in life, like for example, like I heard this one thing, like if you have like a cake, right? If you're not putting the right ingredients, the cake, you have this idea and this picture, like you put the picture of the cake beside you, that's how you want it to come out. But like if you choose to put like, instead of sugar, you put salt, that cake is not, it might look the same, but it might taste salty.
For sure, yeah.
And it like, the outcome of what the cake tastes, looks, it all comes to like preparation, what you're putting in it, and honestly like how you follow the recipe.
Oh,
so that also comes to like how we have like ourselves as people, like in even our relationships with others. So like it goes back to what you were saying, you put that positivity out, expect to receive it back.
For sure, absolutely. I mean? And then going back into the food thing, and like going back into like being programmed too, and like that's one of the things that he talks about. He says that right up until the age of 6, kids are programmed by their parents, and all these programs are like pushed onto them by somebody else. Well, so if you're constantly told that you're stupid for the first 6 years of your life, and you're put down, your mental state is going to be fucked, right? Like it's not going to be proper. It's not going to be right. But if you have that like reinforcement, then like it's different, because it's like if you're empowered, then you're more likely to be down the rest of your life. You're much more likely to be the same way to other people, you know, kind of thing.
And that's like also too like you're saying what you put into your subconscious, it ends up reflecting. Like they say, you are what you think you are. Yeah. Right. So a lot of even music, for example, like if I have music that's talking to me, telling me things like go do this and go do that, and you need this and you need that, then I kind of get like this I guess like I need to be a certain way, otherwise things are not going to work out for me. Like the stigma between a lot of like, for example, Instagram models. Sure. There's like you have to look this way, or no, like just now recently Instagram stopped displaying likes. Yeah, that's right. And they've done that to like prevent like discrimination, so people can actually focus on the content versus how many likes you're getting. Or I think that's pretty unique and pretty cool, because like a lot of people are focused on numbers and not actual like I guess, because
it's almost like vanity, like you're reinforcing that kind of like that behavior really to some extent, and it's kind of fucked up, because that wasn't really probably the intention originally. I mean, to some extent, yeah, because if you're posting pictures, it's very, very visual, right? So it's like you're trying to kind of portray an image, right? But at the same time, it's not real life of a person, because there's so much more to it than just one picture per day, right? Or like whatever.
Most definitely.
And I think people always try to put their best foot forward.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily reflect maybe the person that they are. Or
they have all these apps now that can alter alter what you see, like what a person would actually look like, or but like going back to like I know we're getting a little bit off topic.
No. That's the point of this podcast, man. Let's just talk, man. Let's just have a conversation.
So like basically, like you were saying, like what people tell you subconsciously, like I truly believe in that, because like even I was talking about music that you absorb. If you're absorbing this type of music, for example, like as an artist, people have this perception that you need to sell drugs, you need to be rich, you need to, like have all the baddest bitches around you, and what does that profit for you? What does that make? Does that make you whole? That's what I ask myself sometimes, and me as an artist, like my main goal, like I like Tupac the most. I feel like Tupac.
Me too, man.
Tupac was really.
he was the
fighting for a cause. Like I even got a little tattoo of like his.
That's fucking awesome.
His dear mama.
Yeah.
There's no way I could pay you back, but the plan is to show you that I understand you are appreciated. I got that shit because basically like I grew up like with my mom dealing with similar situations, and you know what, like going through those situations, that's what actually like led me to like started writing. And I heard that Dear Mama's track one time, and I'm like, I felt like a fucking superhero. Felt like I can take over the friggin' world. So like, if it wasn't for music like that, I can almost guarantee you there wouldn't be people like Drake or Nipsey or anybody like that. And even like Drake, like what he's managed to do, he's allowed like everyone to come together, and he's really brought like Canada together as a whole as far as the rap industry goes. But there's a lot of other artists out here also come up that are coming together. Like I'm out in Waterloo, and like I could tell you, like in that area things are starting to pick up as far as music and entertainment goes.
It's becoming so much globalized too, man. Like it's growing.
Like I'm born here in Toronto, but like I live out there, and the people out there.
It's a different world.
They're coming. They're coming with the fire, man.
That's awesome, man.
The fire, yeah.
And like going back to, you mentioned Drake, like he really put like especially Toronto on the map, because now you're looking like even like just in general Canada was kind of like.
People laugh at us, bro.
Yeah, like Americans. Yeah, but now
I don't want to mention any names, but like I look back at like what Canada used to be as a whole as far as like hip hop goes, because like we're so close to like New York, and like it's but we have like one of the most diverse like cultures of music here, you know what I mean?
We do, for sure.
And
man,
it's like Drake has had a big part to play in that, and you can't deny it, you see that owl everywhere, man. Wise guy, right?
Illuminati.
Illuminati, yeah.
No, you know what, going back to the Pac thing, I'll be completely honest with you. Like I discovered it when I was like 16, and like because like I lived in the States at the time when he was still alive, right? And like all of a sudden, like California Love came on the scene, and all this stuff like started blowing up, right at exactly that time. And then I heard like other rappers, like let's say like there would be like Gangstar out of like New York, right? Or like stuff like Biggie, right? And like it was cool, and like it would be inspirational, but like the one thing that really spoke to me is like the realness of Pac, because it was like he came across raw, but it's not like he was intentionally trying to be like that. It's like he was
just like his like I was talking before, part of his like genetic like DNA, like he was here for that specific purpose. That's the same way I feel like I'm Nipsey, because like the amount of like almost can guarantee like not many people know of Nipsey from before, but after like he passed, like everybody was talking about it, and like everybody was like I never actually listened to Nipsey like for a long time,
Neither have I really.
Until like this scenario happened, and I just think like everyone is destined for like a divine purpose, like I haven't mentioned this, but like even my rap name my name's Keelo D'Ville. It actually stands for Kill the Devil.
Right.
And the reason why I decided to say Kill the Devil, because there's a stigma like the devil is trying to take over the world, and associated with evil. But when I think about it, here's food for thought for you. When you think about it, right, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm actually a Christian. And, I feel like, I've said this before in an interview before, but I feel like God is something that we can all not see. Like, if you think about it, like oxygen is something we cannot see, but we definitely need that to breathe. And we can't live without it. You know what I mean? And if you even think about it in the beginning of like the Bible or something, like it talks about like God blowing breath into man. So when I think about that, I feel like whatever I have become up to this point has all like, I guess, guided through a higher power. So Kill the Devil started when like I had a little bit of a situation where I was going through a little bit of spiritual battle, and I could tell you like a lot of darkness was around me. I was exposed to a lot of things right out of high school, exposed to a lot of things, going through communities, friends, getting caught up.
That's sort of the age, because you're trying to find yourself, right? So you're trying to delve into like the farthest reaches that you can probably go after, right?
And like it's like the easier the things look, like they appeal you. You know what I mean? Somebody once said to me, it's like you're a kid in a candy store. You just can't wait to get the opportunity, and once you get it, it's like, shit, how do I deal with it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I had a lot of experiences. I had a lot of experiences when I was in my teens. And like I just felt like this dark presence over me, to be honest. And I think because your mind is still young, you're easily influenced. So I just felt like I would like want to give myself a better outlook. I don't know, some shit you said something about Illuminati, but it's it's spiritual warfare out here for real.
Yeah.
And I just gonna say that I got some revelation from a higher power that I need to be doing something different. So I decided to commit my life to killing the devil. And it's not like there's a physical devil in front of you. The devil is inside your head. Because like if you think about the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you got both sides in there, and now the ultimate purpose is to pick and choose what you decide, what you want.
And I think that God and the devil, they're all inside of you, man. And it's part of human nature.
Because if no one ever like told you there's God, you would not think about that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But somebody put it in there. But something started from somewhere. So you have to go back to that something. What was that something?
But the most confusing part of it is like there's 7,000 different religions in the world or something like that, and they all have so many similarities, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it really weird.
And that's
right?
And that's like something that I don't think anyone is ever going to be able to explain, because nobody's lived as long as this planet has existed. But definitely you can see that we all can have a communication. Like I almost feel sometimes I could talk to people telepathically.
Yeah.
But I don't think
you can say a lot through body language too, man. Like
Exactly.
I think that people that, like for example, I can totally relate to that, because I'm a very detail-oriented person, and I can notice really small things that most people kind of miss, right? So I can really pick up on like a lot of stuff. Let's say, maybe like the way he like rubbed his eye or something like that, and I can tell that maybe like in a certain way I can sense what he's feeling right now, right?
Exactly, and that also comes into like even like how I produce music. Like I know that there's certain sounds in music that can influence your like brainwaves. So like if you play, for example, if you're gonna watch a horror movie and the horror movie is playing like those dark piano chords, and you're gonna obviously feel that emotion. That's why I say like music and emotion is kind of one and the same. Like the frequency changes the perception of your mind to feel that certain way. So like it's the same thing. Like when you hear like love music or something, R&B or something, you get into that sensuality based on what you hear. And a lot of things that like our sixth senses like have to do with everything of who we are. Because like that's what I'm saying. Like this whole thing is a mystery, but it's so perfect. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I know we can't change everything, but it starts with you. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. That's what I'm trying to do with my music. Like, I just talk and I just say what I want to say. I don't pick and choose. Like, like it's not gonna be real if it's not how it is. Like some people say like, oh, if you're a Christian rapper, why do you swear in your music? Why do you talk about this? I talk about it because it's relevant to me. If it decides, if my journey decides to change,
that's the world you live in, though. You know what I mean? Like it's and it's a part of you, and to some extent, like I get what you're saying. For sure.
And if I decide to change, like if something happens, like everyone goes through their journey. Not everybody like is like wrapped in white cloth and is perfect. Like everyone has their struggle. But my journey is to, you know, show people what I'm capable of within that struggle. You know, we all have a time we're all promised death. So we have that time frame to really like make a difference or an impact in the world. Yeah.
You know what that means?
No, what does that
Death.
mean?
In Spanish,
pronounce that
muerte.
Muerte. You're Spanish?
No, man, I'm Russian.
Okay.
No, but the reason why I'm wearing this is because I thought that would be like really relevant in a sense, because it's like with your name it's like Kill the Devil, but I think that the one thing I want to get across is that death is a part of our life, and that's there's almost like a really bad stigma about it, but that's the one thing that, like, you know, once you've come to that realization, once you've experienced it, it changes you as a person, and it makes you realize that you don't maybe have as much time on this planet, that you gotta actually, you know, step up your
Did
thing.
you ever feel like we've all been here before?
I definitely have those
thoughts?
Yeah, like honestly, I have like this crazy ass theory, and it's completely like way off topic, but
Yeah.
I think that's we've had different groups of people on here on this planet before, and it's almost like it almost comes to like an epic, like some sort of like a climax, and something really messed up happens,
And then
it's like everything gets erased, right?
Reset,
and then it just resets, and it's
I
like
heard something about like this Mandela effect thing. Have you
yeah, of course,
about
I've heard of it,
Yeah. So like, there's some things I know that's going on, but maybe it's too conspiracy or whatever. But I do know I'm a conspiracy person.
So am I, man.
I dig deep, and the rabbit hole is very deep. But you can't talk about everything, right?
Yeah.
Sure, let's talk about anything, man. So long as we're not bringing up, you know, some people arguing about politics. I think is the biggest waste of time that people can do, man. Because there's so much stuff that's outside of our control.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if we all come together as people, like you look at France, like right, like they have a problem with something, people just go to the streets. Here it's a completely different. It's a completely different society where it's just like Canada is just so nice, and people are just like, man, like whatever, like what's my voice gonna do, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably different for you because you're like trying to push a message out to people, right? To kind of
the true message that I'm actually trying to push out is like I believe that we all have a great power. Let's just say that we all have a great power. That
absolutely, 100%.
Once you tap into it, and it's in the mind. You know what I mean? Everything that we need to know under the sun is in the brain, because it all started from there. And it all goes back to like you know, like look how the pyramids and stuff were built. Like, we are advanced now than back then, but I feel like this knowledge has always been here. It's just about like interpretation of the knowledge. Because for example, like if mass and energy, like mass can never disappear. So if we're here, we exist. So once that so-called breath leaves the body, where does it go if it's still here?
Well, you know how they say, like, when your spirit sort of leaves your body, that your body loses 8 grams of weight.
8 grams of weight.
So 8 grams of that from that body just sort of disappears, which is really bizarre, because if you think about it, it's like, what? That don't make no sense, right? But
that means something is obviously keeping you here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go back to, like, you know, thinking about it in like an Indian, you know, perspective on how they do it, they say like rebirth, right? On like coming back on this planet, and then on like coming back as an insect, right? Coming back as an animal or something else like that, right?
Because like I was hearing this like kind of like a theory that once we're born, you know, like once we're born, we're here. We're all like. If there is a heaven, for example, hypothetically, if there's a heaven, I believe that there's a heaven, but there's also a hell. If there is a heaven, you know, what is it gonna take for mankind to feel like there's a heaven? You know what I mean? Because some people live in this planet and it's like never gonna, I guess, there's never gonna be that perfect place, I guess, here, because men have their own opinion. You know, there's not one person just trying to make a utopia or anything like that, and it's like almost impossible because I can't tell you what to think, and I can't change your mind.
But you can influence it.
I can influence it, and that's the main thing that I feel like music can do is influence.
Oh, absolutely can.
Yeah.
100%.
Goes
I
back
agree
to the
with you.
brain waves and the frequencies. I feel like music is one of the greatest powers.
It absolutely is. I think that's, if you go back to like Tibetan people and like the whole thing with like sound waves and stuff like that, then like, you know, like them hitting like on those bowls, or like, I don't know if you like the playing in the music, they say that like frequencies can actually heal you, right?
And exactly. And also too, like you can even, if people want to try this experiment at home, like if you actually take like a set of speakers and set them at a certain frequency, and you have a constant flow of water falling from it, and you play that frequency, you'll start to see the water do this in midair. And I find that pretty interesting because,
you know, that they found that water actually has memory.
there you go, where our bodies are consisted of like what, 86%?
They're actually working on creating computers based on water, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I see some, you know what, I don't know what to believe these days because
that's the thing. I don't think we all should rely on the specifics, right? Because I mean, the one thing that if you're going back to, like, you know, if you look at it from this perspective, how do you know all the stuff that you know? Because somebody else taught you this, right? Or it was somebody else's opinion that kind of pushed it onto you, right?
But that's the thing, though. All things that have come here, have been here, it's just like, when do you learn it? And when do you have to actually get the opportunity to receive that information? It's funny that you're talking about like water-based
memory stuff,
computers. It's really trippy what people are coming up with these days. The other day I'm seeing this thing on Instagram with this one artist, I forget his name, but he had like the auto-tune in his arm.
Oh shit.
You see that? He had like the auto-tune in his arm.
You gotta send me that.
And I swear, like,
I gotta check it out.
I swear, like that post, when everyone started to believe that shit. But obviously, like, I don't think they. But then again, you never know. With the things that I've seen happen in this world, you'd be pretty surprised. You know,
we're getting onto like some Alex Jones thing next week.
Infowars, right?
Have you seen this last episode with Joe Rogan?
I never seen that, but I try to keep up to date with what's going on in the world. I don't even have TV.
I don't either, man. Like I think most of our generation doesn't. The smart ones, they know that it's just brainwashing, man. For the most part,
TV just seems like, I'm no disrespect, because like I'm sure I want to be on TV one day, or I'm on TV.
And those movies, man, that's right.
So, but even though, like, I feel like for example, like all winter I was inside the house. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I gonna do if I didn't have internet? You know what I mean? I'd probably go crazy because it's freaking cold outside. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So I actually think internet has like the most control over everyone, because no one is.
It does now.
No one actually, like, you can't survive without Instagram nowadays, right?
Well, it's about, like, I think it's like really just come down to like creators versus consumers, right? So you either consume or you create, like you, right? Like if you actually put out content out there.
But that's what
like we're trying to do with this podcast. We're trying to create stuff that could be inspirational to somebody else. Stuff that could, you know, even if it affects one life, or somebody watches this and they see this and it makes them actually think about stuff, I'll be happy. That's all I really want out of this, man. Like, honestly. Like it started off like a little bit like different, because it's like it was, in a sense, it was like a platform for us to kind of build our brand online. But I think it kind of evolved, because I figured, you know, like, fuck, there's nothing really in terms of Canadian presence that's online, that's videos, that's like interviewing people from like different backgrounds, whether it be businesses, you know, artists, influencers, you know, entrepreneurs, stuff like that. Because I thought it's cool, because if Amazon and freaking, you know, Microsoft want to come here to Toronto because they're trying to build huge hubs, there must be something about this country that's obviously making them do that, right? So, but like,
Canada's on the come up, man, and you can't lie about that, man. It's
I'll be honest with you, man. It's always been like this super like peaceful country, and I like. It's changed a little bit in the sense that, you know, we've got like delved into some wars and stuff like that, and maybe, you know, I mean. That's a whole other discussion we could have for you know, forever. But it's.
What do you want to see happen in this country? Like, what do you want to see? Where do you think we are? And where do you want to see where we're gonna go? As far as like, do you think people are happy?
I love how we're making this about me now.
No, but do you think people are happy here? I know one thing. I know one thing. They can't stand the cold. But do you think people? I think you get used to it after a while. Mm-hmm. But do you think people are happy?
But that's the sacrifice we make to not have like super huge amount of like poisonous snakes come to our front doors. You know what I mean? Like during the summer, it's like you can still get some snakes in there and stuff like that. But
at least they're harmless.
And like, mind you, we're still the southernmost, right? Like if we're in Toronto.
Yeah.
So in comparison to everywhere else in Canada. I mean, if you go to like Nunavut somewhere, like it's
you won't catch me up there at all. I can't even stand this weather here. So and it's funny. I never been on a plane, so
you gotta go check things out, man. Just do it, man.
I definitely
don't put it off. Just do it, man.
Definitely want to travel. I think that's what my plan is this year, to get out there, because like I'm about to drop this album in June, and it's actually called Exodus.
Okay.
So like
nice.
The reason I chose.
How would they find out about this? Tell them.
Yeah, so basically, I'm gonna be dropping an album in June. It's not really, everything's not really finalized yet, but basically, it's just gonna be a collection of some things that like I've been discovering within myself, some kind of personalities, and also like the God within me. I'm also trying to tap into that so-called power, because if you really do a little bit of thinking, sometimes you end up seeing that there's nothing you can't do. You know, so many people have told me, yo, you're never gonna do this, you're never gonna do that. And like, that's like also that kill the devil thing, right? I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that negativity. Like, as an artist, there's the art, like as a rapper, the industry is so saturated with so many artists, and it's so hard to break in to the, I guess, when there's so many, you know what I mean? It's just like having so many different chocolates. Which one do you try? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, what makes you different is like, I guess, the content you provide. Like, the one thing I know, like a lot of things come down to marketing, but I feel like I have a different type of sauce, different type of barbecue.
You got the white barbecue sauce, right?
I don't know.
You know it's a real thing. Actually,
I got a little
out of Louisiana, man. Like I've actually tried it. It's freaking amazing, man.
And the thing is too, is like, yeah. So everyone can like, you know, I'm on Instagram. You can follow me at Keelo D'Ville. So KeeloDville. And basically, like, I have a few music videos on YouTube you guys can check out. I got, you know, some of my stuff on Spotify. But really look out for that album. If you really want to know what I'm about, you guys can find me.
Send us all that stuff. We will put it all up on our Instagram everywhere, man.
Most definitely.
We want to promote your brand, Frig, man. That's what we're all about. We were trying to help each other, man.
Of course, man. I appreciate what you guys are doing, because, like,
thanks,
I remember what we were talking about is like, what do we want to see happen for the kids? Like what kind of, see the thing, my purpose is like I know like a lot of the children are suffering right now. I'm not going to go too much into that, but I can see kids and all they care about is music and what people think about them. You know what I mean? A lot of the teens that I know, just everywhere, the culture's changed so much. Like the kids have the most influence. You know, they have the ability to influence everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of that's why it's very hard for people like the older rappers to come back and like try to instill knowledge on them, because nobody's trying to hear that no more. Like I was hearing something about like I guess a Little Xan and something about like Tupac, who's Tupac or whatever. And I'm just like thinking to myself, like I don't understand how you wouldn't know Tupac, because like what he like, I don't know, like how can you?
He's doing it on purpose. He's trying to create a name for himself by creating controversy, creating controversy, right? So that's all it is.
That's what people do.
It's a platform, right?
That's what people do.
You got to make yourself stand out. So what's the one way to just make yourself stand out? Let's say something that like something absolutely ridiculous that nobody's gonna think it as an actual thing.
Chase clout. It's like me going to somebody, I'm actually white. You know what I mean? But yeah,
it's
man,
one big marketing tactic. I mean, you see it in the media all the time with
like that "Whoa, Vicky" girl. I'm black. But yeah, man, like
But I remember that. I actually saw
Definitely, man. You guys better make sure to follow me, man. I wanna hear what you guys'
sure.
comments are gonna be up on this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. The one thing that I really want to do is just like, my goal is just to make people happy. You know what I mean? Music for me is just an extension of me, but my goal is to try and see, like, you always have to find happiness within you, because nothing can really make you happy. Like, there's no money, there's no I think happiness comes from the better development of self. You know, like, once you can see those improvements and you can feel those improvements, that's the only thing that matters. Like, we only got so much time to make yourselves better, because maybe at the end there is something that you're supposed to achieve. You know, otherwise this life would make no sense.
Yeah.
You know, if we just had the free, like, why would they make laws for if there wasn't a sense of order? You know what I mean? Like, people are put in positions of authority to kind of like keep people like contained, but I think that
yeah, but authority is all made up laws anyways, and then if you look up,
that's the thing. Yeah. But then if you think about it, if we were all just like could do whatever we want, it could be a dangerous world, even worse.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit to everything, like everything, like there has to be an order to a degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we all have the freedom to choose what we want to believe in, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of my I guess knowledge comes from reading. There's a lot of shit on YouTube you can find nowadays.
You can learn a lot, man. You can literally substitute that with education.
But then again,
from university.
when somebody tells you something, they'll give it a title like, "This is what happened," and how do you know if it's real? You can't tell if it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll never be able to tell if it's real, because like people could just see something once and then copy that. And like you said, how do you know that this exists or this is happening?
Yeah.
It's because somebody told you about it. You know.
But then when we could go back to stuff like that, and like we could say like, who's to say what's good or bad?
Exactly.
Who's the one person that determines that, right? I mean, and like, even the morals that are pushed onto us, but they're man created, right?
But you gotta.
And if you look at like yin and yang stuff, right? Like it's always like a balance of darkness and light, black and white, like, you know, like death and life, right? Like stuff like that. Like, and like.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, there has to be a balance, because good cannot exist without evil.
And not everybody can be supposedly good all the time too, right? So
and that's because, but I believe that's because we like, I'm just gonna say this once: we are the tree of life and knowledge of good and evil. So what that means is, by using that knowledge that we have the opportunity to attain life, and what that life does not die. Life cannot die. I believe that life cannot die. You know, like, because what's dead is dead and gone. It's non-existent. Do you know that even like you're talking about the body, how when the spirit leaves the body that it loses its weight? Do you also know that once your body is dying, like, or dead, you'll still see everything in your body's still going to be moving, whether it's just changing its form. So it's always alive. So everything on this planet is alive.
I believe that.
So nothing really truly dies. It's just a form of thought. Death is a form of thought.
You know that like the oldest organism on this planet they discovered are mushrooms.
Oh,
right?
yeah?
Because the way they developed, and some of the like areas, like there's a guy called Paul Stamets. He does like a lot of research into mushrooms, right? And he's found that there's like a huge plateau where like parts of the United States are built on, which are actually this huge big fungus that grows underneath, and it can affect things like in such a way, and like it's like mind blowing stuff. Like I'll send you some links.
Most definitely.
Things about it, like, but it's pretty crazy, man. And like
a lot of people have told me that if like you like take mushrooms or like something like that, like. I used to smoke marijuana, and that shit tripped me the hell out. I try. Sometimes I mess around with it, but I try to not, because what they like there's like a report in like the Sun, like they have fentanyl and stuff. I know some people who have passed from fentanyl.
My wife's cousin, her boyfriend, he was a recovering addict. He stopped all drugs. He cut himself off, and then he just had like an urge to go meet some of his old friends. He went. He smoked a joint and he died the next day.
Wow. And that's what they don't really tell you. They don't say, hey, like marijuana can kill you, because they don't. There's no scientific evidence to prove that. But I can tell you this from my own experiences that, like if you think about your mind, right? And I'm just gonna say this to all the. I'm not going against marijuana. You know, when I used to smoke,
it's legal now.
When I used to smoke that shit, let me tell you, I was feeling good, high and fly. You know. But the thing I realize is like, that whole thing in your mind where you're making good and bad decisions, anything that alters your mind perception is probably not going to be good for the long term. Because like I've actually experienced some severe thoughts from smoking. And I to mention to you before that I've been into that dark place, and I was a chronic marijuana smoker. I would burn like 5 times, 6 times, 7 times a day. But
I can relate. I've been on that path too, so I know.
But then what happened is like you tend to lose yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna tell anybody not to smoke marijuana, because some people it really helps them. Like some people who have I guess like medical problems. But I know that you have to, everything in life you have to do within like I guess you can't abuse it.
You know why? Because the plant itself has the perfect amount of THC and CBD balance, right? And when people start messing around with it and creating hybrids and shit, that's when it gets. And then they're trying to like boost the amount of effect that it brings onto you.
And do you think that marijuana is naturally, like if you make it naturally, it's addictive?
Probably not, but the way that
they designed it, it's addictive.
Yeah, but even now, like there's like talk about how the government made stuff is
like even
like they have like
like cigarettes, for example. Like so many people find it very difficult to quit.
Yeah, but natural tobacco that they don't actually sell anywhere for the most part is actually not addictive, right?
I believe everything is for the dollar.
Yeah, of course.
In God we trust, they say, right?
The one eye closed, right?
God we trust, man. I that's the thing. Like, who? I don't know. Like, I heard this thing like God is gold, oil, and drugs. You know what I mean? But
that's crazy, but it's true, man.
That runs the world, man.
Yeah.
They're not gonna tell you that though, and I don't serve that God. You know what I mean?
We all shouldn't really. I mean, but the problem is that we live in a developed society where we're forced on to be slaves to the money, right? Because that's the way that our world runs.
That's the thing. What is money? Is it a paper or like, for example, someone actually used to work at this barber shop, and some random dude came in there, and he's like he was acting like I don't know if he was really like looking for money or whatever, but he's like, can somebody spare $2? And I guess my boss that was working there at the barbershop one time, he's like trying to think like, is this guy just trying to come to get money to buy drugs or what is he doing? So he decided to give him the $2, and he's like, I was like kind of, because people always come in that area to like ask for change, you know. And then he asked for the money. He got the money, and he's like was doing this weird thing, and he's like looking at us all strange. His eyes are going all over the place, and he's like, do you think that you're rich? And I'm like, at this time I was a lot younger, so I'm trying to figure out like, what does he mean by that? Do you want to be rich? And I'm like thinking about it. Right away I'm just like, of course I want to be rich. Who doesn't want to be rich? But then actually when he said that, I actually started to think, do I want to be rich? And then it says something like, and then I hear something in J. Cole's Middle Child where it says, money in your palm don't make you real. You know what I mean? So like, money is like, no disrespect to money, because I need the same way, but money is actually like one of the craziest
roots of all evil.
Exactly. You know why? You know why they say that? It's also the love for money, that because people need it to survive. But what value does it have if it's just paper?
But if you put it in a way where
like the money's all here. See, they're not gonna tell you this type of stuff in the real world when you're going to school and.
Well, the stuff that they teach you in high school, man, like it's all irrelevant.
They teach you how to they teach you how to work.
I'm sure you're glad you've learned all those parallelograms, right? And in geometry.
But you know what? Like, it's funny that you say that. But everything everything you learn can be used in everything you do.
Yeah.
You know, because at school, like, I never like thought like I would need math, but you always need math. You know, when I
No, you do, but like some of them are the things that they push onto you, like they take it to an extreme. I mean, if that's what you're interested in, and if you want to pursue that, that should be the ability for you to kind of, you know, take it out upon yourself to do that, right? But at the same time,
it's crazy, man. There's too much information in this world.
There's too much brainwashing that's happening through schools, man. Like some of the stuff that they teach the kids,
it's so pointless.
It's messed up.
It's so pointless.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so happy, like, I'm not going through that process right now, you know? At least I've learned my what I need to learn, and now, like, if music has the influence to change.
But think of it this way, like, if you're able to provide the good for the people, and people can benefit from it while you're making money, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody's got to make a living, and that's just, unfortunately, the reality of the things now that we have.
Yeah,
right?
the one thing, too, is, like, if our, I'm not going to say anything about economy, but if our dollar increases, you know, I don't know like what they plan to do to, because our dollar's pretty weak right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like 78 cents or something like that.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, like trying to like do anything to like outside of the country is always gonna like affect us more because we don't because we have winters, we don't have the ability to like grow organic foods like for example Florida, they have oranges. We don't have that ability. We have to like actually put stuff in like plant what is it called, like what do they call those things, green rooms or something like that?
Greenhouses.
Yeah. See, like that always costs money too.
Right.
So that's why I feel like we're never gonna like, I don't know, climate has to do with a lot too.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you one thing that's probably gonna change your perception about a lot of things. Is I actually read this book maybe a couple of years ago that talks about how there's actually two minds inside of you. There's one inside your stomach and one inside your head, and it's all connected through your spine. So whatever,
there's one in your stomach.
Yeah, and then like so whatever you put inside your body, it converts the energy into it. So if you keep continuously putting food that's bad for you, it's gonna affect you because technically you are what you eat, right? Because think about it, you eating those chips right now. Once you eat them, what does it become? It becomes a part of you, right? You drink that water.
I don't know what half this shit is. Anyways.
You drink that water. It becomes a part of you, right? Yeah. And if water has memory,
this shit
and we're what, like 80% memory, then think about that, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like I know like,
and that's why I think that food is totally it's relatable to going back to what we were saying before. Yeah. You can cure yourself with food for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. 100%. I do believe in that, and like you know, a lot of people can now that there's so much things that are over processed and genetically modified. I actually think people are coming to the realization that shit don't make you feel good. Yeah. You know, like even like hormonal imbalances. Like I think food has the power. Like,
but it's what we absorb. It's everything that we absorb too. It's like external factors. It's like radiation, all these electromagnetic waves, right? I mean, there's the food that we consume, the water that we drink. You know that most of the water that we have contains microplastics in it, and it's actually changing us, all of us as human beings, because it has microplastics. Because water becomes a part of us. So we're technically become like.
So where are we gonna find everything that's pure?
But that's why we're going to Mars, man. I'm just joking.
We're going to Mars. I ain't going to Mars.
Yeah, but people don't
screw that. I'm from another planet, but it definitely ain't in this galaxy.
No, fair enough, man. Yeah. I honestly think that's it's going back to what you were saying. I think that the one thing that a lot of people can probably take away from it is that this quote I heard. Like you ever heard of Anthony Bourdain?
No.
He's like a chef. Like he used to like travel the world, right? And like he'd go to like different places and he would talk about their food and everything else, because that's the one thing that always brings people together, right? So I was always fascinated because he'd travel to different cultures, he'd go to different countries, and he always speak to them, right? And the one thing that really stood out to me, like this one quote by one guy, he was a chef somewhere, I think in Austria or something, right? Which it wasn't really a memorable episode by any means at all whatsoever. But the one thing that he said that always stuck with me is he said that when we follow the herd, we're bound to step into their shit.
Yeah.
So why, if you want to be different, lead the herd.
Yeah.
So it's like in order for us to be our a man of our own, in order for us to be unique, we have to embrace the uniqueness, and instead of us trying to shut it down because we think that it's it's not like everybody else, it's not regular. Who gives a fuck, man? Like that's the attitude I think that what people should implement is that's yes, certainly there's certain standards that we have, living in a society where we have certain standards that people should technically follow, right? Like not purposely trying to go out and like murder people or like stealing like things and stuff like that, right? Like because that karma is bound to catch up to you, right? So
and that's the thing, like if you look at balance, like what you do to one side, you have to do it to the other side, right? Yeah. So like if you take like it's like perfect law. Like if you take something from somebody, expect something to be taken from you. Yeah. Or if you give something to someone, like I'm telling you, like this shit is it's so natural. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so natural. Like there's a consequence for every action, and also like a reward for every action as well. So like even me, for example, like like when I was younger, I used to I used to be, I guess I didn't make all the best choices. Like I robbed chocolate from the dollar store and things like that. And like that's something that as a kid, like you don't have it, you see everyone else doing it, you're like, yeah, let me get a few Twizzlers in there and shit. But I as a kid, like you don't know that it's wrong because you know it's wrong because you can feel it within yourself, right? You just don't want to get caught. That's that subconscious telling you, no one can see me doing this. But and you know it's wrong. And the thing is, like, as human beings, like, when do we stop having that feeling that we're doing something wrong? Like I'm pretty sure, like, some people, I think everything that we do, we can feel if it's wrong,
But that's the thing. The thing is, who's to say that it's wrong? What if you're starving and the only way to keep yourself alive is by taking on chocolate, right?
Exactly.
But or like let's say like they say don't kill a man, but what if you're put in a situation where that person's trying to kill you, and the only way for you to survive is to kill him?
That's true.
Right. So I mean, like there's always two sides to the story, and there's always like who's to say that those are the right laws and that we should all follow them only because it's been mandated by somebody else.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot of things that see in the things like the stuff that I want to talk about in music is a little bit deeper than just hip hop. Like I want to talk about there's
what's your message? Tell us more about that. Like what's the purpose that you're trying to get across now with this album that's going to be coming out?
Okay, so think about it. If I'm a Christian, so a lot of my stuff is very spiritual. So I believe that we are all slaves. I know Kanye would like that one. But I believe that we're all slaves to in the mind. And like I was saying, kill the devil. So Exodus, if you think back to the story of Exodus, it was actually about God's chosen Moses, who was supposed to free his chosen people, the Israelites, from Egypt. And like if you think about the story in the Bible where the Pharaoh was in a position where he had these people working for him, kind of like our society, had the people working for him, they had no choice. They had to worship their way of life, and there was no way to break free from that, because when somebody has when people own, like, the easiest way to hold somebody back is to put fear in them.
Absolutely.
And I feel like if people could conquer their fear, they would conquer the so-called devil. So like with the whole Moses thing, like Moses was actually able to give the Israelites the opportunity to believe in something by setting all these wonders and mystery, like having the plagues come and showing people that what you can see, there's a lot more that's in power on my side. And if you want to be on my side or believe in what I believe in, you can achieve this promise as well. You know what I mean? And like if you're scared of something, you're always gonna just like go with what your gut tells you and just like back off.
But I think it's also like mentally like different because I think it's about complacency. People are just so comfortable with the known, and always relying on that, right? And then it's always much harder to push yourself beyond the unknown and try to kind of discover whatever is out there.
And
right?
that's the whole purpose to what Keelo D'Ville is, because like I wanna dig a little bit deeper than what people more than meets the eye. And the thing is with the Exodus project, it's more so just like everything that I am. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a certain way, or it's just everything that I am at this point in stage of my life. I'm gonna change as life continues to go on, but I promise to have like my core strong as I can. I'm only human. But I feel like I'm gonna try to break some boundaries.
I respect it because I think it's important for you to be truthful, right?
Yeah.
To speak from the heart, and if that's what you're trying to get across, people will definitely catch on to that, and they'll be able to tell, right? Because I mean, a lot of the times you can tell. Because I mean, like even with like a lot of like gangster rap, I mean, like it's the only reason it's glorified, and the only reason people jump on board with it is because it's like taboo, right? It's like check out these guys. They're like they're doing all this crazy wild stuff, right? But
and you asked me about my chain. Like my chain is like the laugh now, cry later.
Yeah.
So like there's always that you have to balance it out type of thing. Like you see, like me, I'm nowhere close to perfect. Like I still curse. I still maybe smoke weed sometimes or whatever. And the thing is like, you know what? I'm still growing as a human being, At the end of my life, I just want to know that I did the best me. I don't need to be the best you or that person. I did the best me. Because like, if I have to like watch everything I've been through, I want to know like, did I make that right decision there? Did I make that right decision there? And they'll always be like, I wonder if I made that right decision.
But who's to say that it was the right decision or was the wrong decision?
It's going to be the right decision based on how you feel.
But it's the only person that'll know that it's the right decision is you, though.
Exactly.
Right? So again, it's going back to the mind, right?
Exactly.
So if it's the food that we put inside ourselves, whether it be educational or water or food or the actual stuff like that,
the
right?
best food that anyone can eat is knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we're stacking wisdom here, right?
Yeah.
On this show.
Stacking wisdom, man. Yeah. We ain't stacking Benjamins over here.
Well, that's you were asking me initially, right? But before we started rolling this, is like why stacking wisdom, and that's let's go back to that, like because I think that's it's important to give the people that want it the ability to take away the knowledge of others that have lived on this planet and to kind of create content and put it out there and make it available for others, right? I mean, even if it's somebody that even stumbles on this, and if they, if we can have like little even gold nuggets of stuff that can come across as something that can empower somebody.
And that's my one encouragement for the young people is just to, study, read, find everything you can, because that the world is constantly changing. Whatever you know is going to be your power that I was talking about. Like whatever you like, it's not what you have within you, it's what you do with it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And because we're all we're all the same, but it's how we typically, and we're all composed of the same genetics and everything like that, but we all have the power here to,
it's the perception,
to what somebody might take $1, they might spend it and buy a chocolate bar or something, right? But then that somebody might take that $1 and say, I want a piece of the chocolate bar, but how can I also retain some money or get something back? That's why I like people like Warren Buffett and things like that. Like I love studying, man. I love I feel like I'm pretty young myself, but I feel like if given the opportunity, I would like to influence and change a lot of things in society. You know what I mean?
I respect that what you're saying too, is because you're saying that I am who I am right now, and this is the material I'm putting out, but I'm also trying to stay relevant in the sense that I'm trying to evolve myself. I'm trying to grow as a person, right? So I think that so many people are kind of giving up on that, and they're just like I don't really care. Like I've got a cushy job, it's fine. I have a family, and it's almost like this, like that American dream is like with a white picket fence, the house, the wife, the kids, and all that stuff.
Yeah, that shit is cool and all. That's what they make you believe. That
exactly.
That shit is cool. It looks nice. But when you get it, is it really that nice? You know, you could have like,
It's going back to what you were saying, with like you're a slave to that dollar, right?
yeah,
It's like
you could have like a good girl at home or something like that, and then there's like, they put all these Instagram models in your face, and it's like, damn, I can't be faithful or whatever, and you mess up, and now you stuck with that situation. Like, you're not happy anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what they do. That's why everything is it's a pull on your moral conduct. Everything is a pull on your moral conduct. Everything that we know today is a pull on our moral conduct. They don't want us to win, and that's what they're not gonna tell you. You know, but I'm gonna tell you. God is watching.
But it's part of you too. God is part of you, and so is the devil.
Exactly.
So it's like ever-ending, never-ending that battle, you know, within you. The one thing that you were talking about, you said that, you know, like what's our, like, you know, purpose here, and for myself, I've kind of came up with this idea of what I really wanted to accomplish. I think at the end, before I pass away, is I'm like, I have this like fascination with like Zen gardens, like, you know, like Japanese gardens that they have with like rocks and like just small like isolated areas, and like be like overgrown sometimes with certain branches and stuff like that, or like bushes, and like just like a really peaceful place where there's a little bit of water, some like small stone statues, some rocks and stuff like that. And the one thing I want to do is maybe, you know, 10-15 years from now, like start building these like small pieces of like getaways within the big cities that people can go to and like regain a little bit of their sanity back, right? So that's the one thing that like
that's really cool, man.
That I really want to do, like,
because sometimes like the best thing is to do is meditate and like just become like one.
But it's hard to meditate too, man. It's I think it's a very difficult process, and just, you know, I think most people have like a really hard time just sitting there and just being with their thoughts, right?
Yeah. Do you believe like I heard something about like ayahuasca? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like people take ayahuasca and then like they end up like knowing everything about
like DMT and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but you got to be careful with that, man, because it can create some really crazy like trips for people, right? So
I already trip.
I mean, like they just legalized like magic mushrooms in Colorado, yeah. First, I think first city in Colorado, Denver, I think, was the first one to legalize it now.
Yeah, cause like the thing is like I know like that's the thing like
they use so many of these drugs though in like experimental studies for the benefit of like medical research right before, but then later on they made them illegal. Just like marijuana was too. It was socially accepted to smoke it, but then there was like a huge ban, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at hemp is a way better alternative for so many different things, for clothing, for fiber production, for like so many different things, right?
Strong.
But it's also like an issue now because it's, you know, those farmers that are producing other stuff, it's like the fight against them. It's like who gets the piece of the pie, right? And it's going back to the whole dollar thing, right? So it's like,
I think in the end, like no matter what you do, like we're all gonna end up in the same place.
we will, of course.
We're all gonna end up in
right
the
there,
same
man.
place.
Muerte.
We're all gonna end up in the same place, whatever it is, you know. But I do believe that we can live forever, though, and that's like my own belief. Like I believe that, like we're alive right now, right? We have a conscience, right? We can see, smell, taste, feel, right? But once this is gone, once this physical. You
can't take it to the grave. It won't come with you.
Yeah.
Even if you're in the grave, once you go.
But you're taking something. You're taking a part of this with you, though. You're taking the memories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe that.
You can't take.
But you probably won't be able to take every single memory.
But like I heard this thing, like once you're going through that transition from death back to heaven, that's what I believe. I believe like we come from heaven, we come here. And then we go back to heaven, and we come here, and we go back to heaven, and we come here. So, like, for example, because, like, in the Bible it says, like, if you believe in Jesus, that you'll have eternal and everlasting life. So my perception of that is, like, when you go and you die, you are going through that transition back to heaven. You know, it seems scary, it seems dark. People presume death to be like very dark and scary. You know, if you're going to hell, there's demons there and it's a dark place. But if you think about it like this way, think about it too. When a child is born, you know, they're in a dark place. But they know they're there. They feel like this awareness that they exist. I'm pretty sure like we've all had that feeling, because I can even like recall like this is a thought that when I was young I could feel that I was there, but I couldn't see shit. that's something different. But like, you know how they say like, oh, follow the light, you're gonna see like that tunnel or whatever. I always thought that like it could potentially just mean like you're coming back into this world, and you know, because like you see that person dressed in white, it's a doctor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and if you think about it, like, I heard like Jewish people believe that if within the first I guess 3 months of conception, that's when you achieve the living soul. So until like the body can like the zygote or the embryo can feel or whatever, that's when you I guess that's when you start having like spiritual like feelings. You know what I mean? Because when that transition from heaven, people are waiting there, and depending on if they've done good in this life, that determines if we come back or not. That's what I believe. But I don't know 100%. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I feel like we're gonna have this as a never-ending conversation that we could probably just sit there and talk about for hours, man. But you know what? We gotta either come meet you somewhere in your place and create a continuation for this, because
I'm always down to talk, man.
Because I don't know. I mean, I think we can probably have a lot more to talk about. And
I'm a deep thinker, man. I never stop thinking. Like I have OCD. My mind's just like, what if, why? So,
yeah, but who's to say you actually have OCD? How do you know it's not a money-driven agenda?
That's true. It might be.
But who says you actually have OCD? If you believe in it, you might have it.
Yeah.
But who's to say that you actually do? Maybe it's just the way that you are, and that you're different.
Maybe.
So who's to say that you actually have it?
That's true. I think people with OCD have a good thing, because like they make things better.
Yeah, I think everybody has a little bit of OCD. I have a little bit of OCD too, in certain ways. My brother does too, I think.
Yeah.
But I think we're just being affected by our external environment, like chemicals, food, water, whatever else that we're absorbing, right? So radiation, I don't know, what have you. I mean, there's so many different things. Dude, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Oh, most definitely, man. Thank you, Artem, and thank you, Alex.
Please let them know where they can find all your stuff.
So you guys can find my stuff at Keelo D'Ville, so KeeloDville. And, you know, I'm on all social media platforms. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. And make sure to check out my music, Exodus, coming to you real soon.
And we'll post everything about his album. We'll post links. We'll post links to all your stuff in our video. But you can definitely check out our podcast on all the different platforms. You can find all the links in our bio and on our Instagram, Stacking Wisdom. Check us out. You can also find us on stackingwisdom.com. Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll try to have a continuation of this conversation at some
part two.
Part 2, and maybe 3 and 4 and 5. We'll see how it flows out, man. Yeah. But thank you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Thank you guys.
And keep stacking wisdom, stackers.
Yes, sir.